Thanks for the support as a channel member, Keith Watson. The wheels are coming off, boys and girls, for the first time in about 18 months since we started getting good. For the first time, I'm starting to tentatively look at the job vacancies. I think unless we can come out of this season with one of these trophies somehow, it might be time to move on from Tottenham because they're cursed. It's just not possible for Tottenham Hotspur to win anything. Hello and welcome to Club 4, Part 35 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have an FA Cup 4th round tie, I think it is, away against Manchester United. And we're at home, against West Ham in the Premier League. The January transfer window not quite complete, but I wanted to show you the Man United game because based on how things have been going in the league, we're definitely out of the running. You can see there's a defeat there against Chelsea. We saw the draw against Arsenal in the last episode. We only managed to draw against Man United, only managed to draw against Crystal Palace. We're dripping. Dripping's not the right word, Kev. We're drifting further and further away from this title race. Now 13 points behind Arsenal, 12 points behind Man United, and 10 points behind Chelsea. There is very much a top three who were in a title race, and then there's the next four who are battling for that 4th Champions League spot, of which we are one, along with Liverpool, Man City and Newcastle. It's not how this season was supposed to go. We are still in the Champions League, and you'll see a bit of that tomorrow, but it'll probably be our last Champions League game of the season because we're playing Paris Saint-Germain in the first knockout round of the Champions League. Despite winning our group, they presumably finished second in their group, which I think is a little unfair. If we have a look at all groups, what group were they in? Paris Saint-Germain. Okay, so Chelsea topped their group. Chelsea presumably beat them twice. So perhaps they're not impossible to get past, but it does seem quite a daunting prospect for a team that only managed to draw 0-0 away against Crystal Palace. There has been a little bit of transfer news already. There's a chance we might have more transfers as this episode goes on because we've still got 4 or 5 days of the transfer window left. But I've done some business. Rosso and Guerrero are back from their loans. And Rosso, if we have a look at the team report, Rosso is considered one of the star men. Or in fact, he's already drifted back down. When he came back in, he came in as a 4-star player. Real Madrid offered £60 million for him and I turned it down. I'm now thinking, if we get another £60 million offer, he's played 2 games back for us now and is the same Rosso I remember. It's a similar thing to Jadon Sancho. I'm starting to worry. I don't know if it's Tottenham or me that's cursed, but Jadon Sancho, who we didn't manage to get a good game out of for 3 years, has gone to Juventus and he's a world beater again. The form he's had throughout his whole career: Dortmund, fantastic. Tottenham before me, fantastic. Paris Saint-Germain, fantastic. Tottenham under me, rubbish. Juventus after Tottenham, fantastic. And Rosso looks like he might be the same way. He was excellent for Betis. Real Madrid offering all that money for him. Atletico an hour in for him. I think if we get another big offer for him, we probably take it because I think I was right. He's not any good. It's nothing to do with me not being able to get the best out of my players. But we have done some other business. We've sold 2 big players. Van Houston and Kawamata both leaving. Van Houston's gone to Barcelona for £57 million. He's 30 years old now. Yes, he was our captain. That's one of the reasons I've got rid of him, because I was fed up of us bottling things and decided to blame him. But with bringing Guerrero back, the plan was always when Guerrero came back, Van Houston moves on. The fact that I've also brought in another defender, just hurried him out the door. Marcos is a 22-year-old Brazilian, 4-star current ability defender, better than Guerrero, better than Rodriguez, almost as good as Banfalvi. It's going to take him a little bit of time to bed into the Premier League, but we have another Brazilian superstar youngster there. So him coming in just had to get Van Houston out the door. Literally couldn't fit these 2 in my squad. It wasn't a case of, keep them around till the end of the season. It'll be all right. Couldn't fit them in the squad because I also brought in another Brazilian, Jefferson Camelli, who's a 23-year-old Brazilian right back. I know we already have a Brazilian right back in Jair, but Camelli can also play centre back, left back, defensive midfield. He's much more versatile than either Jair or Kawamata are, so I think he'll still get game time around the rest of the team. Not quite as good as Jair, but does provide some decent cover in all of these areas as well. So that's why he's come in. 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. He was at Porto previously. And again, with him in the squad, couldn't fit Kawamata in anymore. So Kawamata's gone to Manchester City. for £43.5 million. They're the only team that offered anywhere near decent money for him. I don't imagine him getting in their team unless they've got a right-back crisis going on. But everyone else was only offering 20 million. So as much as I don't like to sell to title rivals, A, we're not really in the title race anyway. We're battling with Man City for fourth place. But C, I missed out B, didn't I? I just don't see that he's going to be any good. Just don't see that he's going to be any good for them. But I guess I'm ready to be proven wrong. We've already had Dele Alli score against us this year. I suspect Kalmata will probably score against us as well. So in the absence of Van Houston as captain, Harry Kane has now taken back over as club captain. I'm still not intending to play him very much, but I just think experience-wise, it's probably a good idea to have him in a leadership role before he moves into the backroom staff. I know I don't normally show you this page, but I did want to just show you my mentoring groups. We just need to add Marcos to that group. Because that's... Oh, in fact, Van Houston was the one leading that group. So let's just see... Ryan Sessegnon can come in and lead that group. That works for me. This group, we've got a little bit of a problem because Carlos has had a huge drop in his determination. It actually came up as an inbox thing saying due to stuff that's been happening off-field, he's had a significant drop to his determination and it's affecting his development as a player. So Carlos was already in that mentoring group with Harry Kane, but I am now a little bit worried that maybe Antonio Carlos has already peaked. And, I mean, he's having a really poor season. It's one of the reasons we're struggling because we haven't got him being a superstar for us this year. So it might be time for Vance or Rosso to push past him in the pecking order, or both of them maybe, and try and establish themselves in the first team because Fernando's kind of doing it all on his own at the moment. George is injured. Carlos just isn't performing. And we've got these two youngsters who, I guess one of them now needs to step up and shine. So, Manchester United away in the FA Cup. This is the team that we're playing. And we are giving Carlos another go. But as you can see, he's the odd one out in this entire lineup. He is the weak link. And I was going to say I don't know what's caused it. I know exactly what's caused it. I've just explained what's caused it. But it's such a shame that a player that was doing so well has just seemingly regressed. It's like he had one good season. He's now nothing special like he was that first year he was with us. It's a real shame. So, we've got Francisco in goal, a back four of Sessegnon, Rodriguez, Banfalvi and Jair, Vermonti at the base of the midfield, Gravenberch and Vargas ahead of him, Gibbs-White behind Carlos and Fernando up front. Let's get into the game. Let's hopefully win the game because the FA Cup is going to be one of our few ways to leave Tottenham with a trophy, assuming we do go at the end of this season. In fact, I think, like I said in the intro, I'm kind of thinking, unless we win something, I think it probably is time to leave Spurs. We'll have been here 4 years and for 4 years, spent a lot of money. Yes, I've refreshed the squad massively, but in 4 years, we've pretty much not moved Spurs on at all because when I first arrived, they were a team that narrowly missed out on the Premier League title. Last season, we narrowly missed out on the Premier League title. This year, we might miss out on the Champions League. So it's kind of been 4 years of treading water and not pushing Spurs onto that next step because I think Spurs have probably topped out. You know we can't win the league. Fernando puts us 1-0 up from the penalty spot. But we're never going to win the league with Spurs because they're Spurs and Spurs don't win the league. They have, however, won the Champions League twice in the last 10 years before I arrived. So maybe we can finish off with a Champions League win and then go and try and win a domestic league somewhere else. Maybe head over to Barcelona or Juventus or somewhere like that. They're the two that I keep mentioning. They're the two I really fancy because I've never managed either of them before. And I think it would be fun. But Real Madrid, again, fall into that category. I've never managed them before. So a really top-tier, big European club. If any of them will have me. Now, we know last summer I was linked with Man United and Man City. So it looks like I am now considered in that top tier of manager, even though I've never actually won anything. But I'm not going to complain. Keith Crown now charging down the right-hand side for United. This is why we would love to bring him back. But he's just way outside of any price negotiations we could possibly do. We regularly ask and they regularly just laugh. And I think that's where when Tottenham look back on this period of history in the distant future, I would like Daniel Levy to take the majority of the blame because Keith Crown was sold between managers. He was sold after the previous guy who almost won the league with Spurs. He left. Crown was sold, and then I was brought in, and of course spent the money on Jadon Sancho, which we all know how that turned out. But how different might this 4-year period for Tottenham have been if we'd have had homegrown Keith Crown as our absolute superstar? He's one of the best players in the world, and we cashed in on him for no reason when there was no manager to make the decision. And it's baffling, especially when the board are consistently whinging at me for not developing players out of our youth team and not having enough English players. Well, the last young English player who's developed through our youth team got to 21 years old, just started to perform for the first team, and got sold out from under me as the next manager, and now scores against me. So what's the point? If I develop one, you'll just sell him, you monster. This is an argument I had with Daniel. I think I've told you that there's a new board involved. Levy has actually gone, but this is the argument I had with him as he left. This is why we never won the league, you idiot. It's your fault. You sold Keith Crown, and you shouldn't have done. I've spent 4 years trying to buy him back. I'll go to Manchester United and manage him there and win the league with him there, and show Spurs that they only have themselves to blame. Oh, I'm frustrated. I'm so frustrated. Whenever I get like this in videos, you always get a little pocket of people saying, Kev, if you're not enjoying the save, take a break. And I am still, don't get me wrong, I'm still loving the save. I love playing Football Manager, whether I'm winning or losing. It's lots of fun. But it's because I get into full roleplay mode. So I'm enjoying the argument I'm having in my head with the Spurs board about how it's their fault and not mine. I enjoy that element of it just as much as I enjoy winning on the pitch. So I'm having a lovely time. Kev, the character in game, not having so much fun because of Manchester United. Well, no, not because of Manchester. Well, they took my player, but who can blame them? They got the best young English player for a generation for a steal, £120 million, an absolute steal. We paid more for Jadon Sancho than they paid for Keith Crown. Let that sink in for a minute. Let that sink in. It's hideous. Right, we're going to go attack him. It doesn't matter because Man United are relentless. Oh, 3-1 now. We shouldn't have come here and attacked. But it's a one-off cup game that we need to win. So I'm getting fed up of coming to places and defending because it doesn't work. Oh, it's all going wrong. The other thing that's been coming up in the comments is people saying, Kev, why is Sessegnon not in the team and Philippe is now? Philippe and Jair are the only two Tottenham players who were just named in the World Team of the Year. They are the two best fullbacks in the world. They both play for us because we play a diamond and we need great fullbacks. So that's why Philippe and Jair are my two first choice, because they are the two best fullbacks in the world. Sessegnon's just going to have to accept that. We're 4-1 down now, though, and it's been the Keith Crown show. And that's what makes it even more upsetting. Oh, imagine if he was playing for us. Oh, there's no justice in the world. Gibbs White, Vermonti, Gravenberch. I don't know why I'm commentating. It doesn't matter if we score. Vermonti plays it into an injured Jair. Can he do some Jair things? He's going to do a little bit of them. It's lovely stuff from Jair as usual, and Vermonti does score. It's a nice goal, a nice assist for Jair, but I can't get excited about it when we've conceded 4 and we're out of the FA Cup. So it really is Champions League or bust this season now. And as we know, we've got to play Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. So it's not looking likely that we're going to make it through that competition. My phone's now ringing, which I assume is Daniel Levy, ready to sue me for comments made during this video. Daniel, you're not my boss anymore. I can now talk smack if I have to. Vermonti plays it out to Jair. Jair trying to do some more Jair things. He crosses to Fernando, but can't quite get the... I mean, Jair's trying, bless him. He's injured, and he's still trying to get things going. But it's not enough. I need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb so Levy doesn't try and get me anymore and ruin my day more than he already has. Look at the state of what's going on here today. Oh dear. Oh dear me. Oh. It's like we're powerless. It's like we're playing a team on another level to us. And player-wise, they're not. And that makes me even sadder because I know the implication of that. Our players are as good as their players, but they look like they're on a different level. I know where the weak link is, and I don't want to acknowledge it. But Oh, it might be time to just run away from the Premier League and go and win the league. So it's easier to win La Liga, as I showed last year. There's not as much money there. If you build a super team in La Liga, you will win the league. Here, everyone's got a super team. And you actually have to be a good manager. No more transfer business then. I really tried to get us an attacking midfielder, a proper dedicated attacking midfielder. But there's just... I can't get them. I made an offer for him and they wanted like £200 million for him. This guy would have been lovely. £200 million for a 28-year-old? If that's what we've got to do to push Tottenham over the finish line, not interested. This guy, they wanted £140 million for. And I look at him and think, is he that much better than Rott? Let's do a comparison between him and Rott. To me, Kylian Rott's a better player. So do we spend £140 million on this guy who's faster but worse at everything else? No, of course we don't. So we don't have an attacking midfielder. We've not done any more business, so we've just shuffled the midfield around again, looking to find a combination that works. So Vargas at the base, Gravenberch and Carter, then Rott at the point of the diamond. Philippe comes back in at left back. Other than that, it's the same team that just got battered by Manchester United. But West Ham are not a very good side. They're down in 15th place. Fingers crossed, we beat them. But that being said, in the previous round of the FA Cup, we really struggled to get past Burton Albion. So... morale is low at Tottenham at the moment, and I need to figure out a way to turn it around. A team such as ours should be winning without any problem at all. I need Antonio Carlos to step up and be awesome again. Or I need to get brave and say, right, you know what? I'm going to play Francis Vance for the rest of the season, and we'll just see what happens. The problem with doing that, of course, is if it's a flop, I ruin him and probably get myself sacked by not getting into the Champions League. Whereas with Carlos... I'd like to think we'll probably still finish 4th. That being said, we're in 5th at the moment. And with Liverpool and Man City being the two teams, or two of the three teams, competing with us for that 4th place spot, it's a terrifying time. We've got to actually maintain some good form because they're both good sides. There's 6 very good teams in this Premier League. And that's the problem. I mentioned it a minute ago. It's the issue with managing in England because there's so much money. I reckon there's 6 teams in this Premier League that would win every other league in the game, and we're one of them. But we're not quite as good as Arsenal and Man United, and this season Chelsea apparently. Although Chelsea last year, I don't think even got in the Champions League. So it's there's not a huge amount between us as a 6. We need 6 Champions League spots. Then everyone will be happy, and we can just take it in turns winning the league. Rott plays it out to Philippe, looking for the overlap. He looks up, he plays it infield to Gravenberch, who's got space and shoots and scores. He is probably our most important player at the moment, our most consistent player. That's an 8th goal of the season now for him. In a season where Carlos has gone off the boil, Jair's not doing as many Jair things. Fernando's still scoring consistently, so it's not fair to say Gravenberch is the only one. But I think without Fernando or Gravenberch, we would be in serious, serious trouble. And I'd have probably been sacked by now. As it stands, though, with that goal, we do jump back up above Liverpool, who presumably have already played game 25 because there's no other matches going on at the moment with a Sunday 2 o'clock kickoff. So Liverpool must have played on Saturday. So hopefully we can make our way past West Ham and end the episode still in a Champions League spot, which is all we can hope for this season now. Qualify for the Champions League again. What a goal from Vargas. And then maybe try and win this season's Champions League. I tell you what, looking at the stats, we've played really, really well today. And it's largely the same team that was awful against Manchester United. And it shows the gap between the top 6 and everybody else. Because this top 6 are awesome. Everyone else in the Premier League very much beatable. But unfortunately, we still haven't mastered a way to beat the rest of the top 6. And that's what holds us back. If we could do that consistently, and we are doing it here and there. We beat Chelsea relatively recently. We've beaten Arsenal this season. But you saw what happened against Manchester United. So we've got to find a consistent way to beat the other good teams. And if we can do that, we'll win the league. But it won't be this year. So we've now got to win the Champions League this year, or I'm going to walk. I'm not just going to resign. I'll find a job I'll start looking for good jobs it might be that nothing appropriate comes up in the summer. So don't take that as a promise. I'm definitely leaving this at the end of this season if we don't win the Champions League. Because I might not be. I'm not going to go and manage Hamburg. I'm not going to do that kind of thing again like we did last year, because I feel like I've done my Hamburg time, and I've almost done my Sevilla time here at Tottenham. And I think if we did it the way we did with Sevilla and played a really long-term game, I think we were at Sevilla for 6 or 7 seasons before we won the league. And I am confident if I did 6 or 7 seasons here at Tottenham, we'd win the league. But it's going to be such marginal improvements each year. Oh, what a goal from Gravenberch again. That it almost just becomes waiting for these young players to get to 25, 26, and then they'll do it. And that seems like a bit of a cop-out way to do it. So I want to go and prove my managerial chops. Not that I have any, but I have got a very good player just there. He was just running this game again, which is lovely to see. Oh, they've got James Maddison in their team. It's nice to see him getting an opportunity to play at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I imagine somebody had to show him around before the match. This is where the changing rooms are. This is where you park your car. Yeah, lovely stuff. Right, Vargas plays it out to Jair. Can he do some Jair things? I want Jair back. I want my Jair back, and that was nearly him. He's not quite the goal and assist machine he was last year. I suspect there's been an update that's ruined fullbacks again. Although that being said, Philippe's having a lovely game, so perhaps Jair just... It would be devastating if Jair and Carlos were just one-season wonders when they were both like 21. That would very much upset me. Carlos is going to come off though, and we're going to bring Vance on. And we're also going to take off Carter and bring on Vermonti, because that allows us to push Vargas a little bit further forward. And hopefully, with 20 minutes to play, Vance can nab himself a goal. And I'd like him to... I've said this before about young players. I like them to force their way into the team. I don't like making the decision to... Oh, well, I've got to play you because... I don't like making the decision of, I'm going to play you because I think that will make you good. I prefer to, right, you're so good, I now have to play you. That's Kev's version of youth development. And Vance isn't there yet. He might get there. He's not there yet. Banfalvi, having a look up, he's actually another one who's dropped below an average rating of 7. I noticed it on the pre-match screen. Gravenberch, look at that. Very positive forward run. Philippe on the overlap, looking for a hat-trick of assists. Plays it back to Gravenberch, who finds Vermonti. Vermonti to Rott. Give it to Vance and let him score. Vargas to Rott again. Fernando. Vance is there. Back to Fernando, and it's wide from Wesley Fernando. We've had 38 shots in this game, and we're not even in the 80th minute yet. That is insane. Right, we're going to bring George on, which allows us to push Vance into the advanced forward role, which is his natural role, get him up, hopefully, into a goal-scoring position. I don't think he'd have missed that chance that Fernando just had. And we have a free kick, it looks like, on the edge of the area. And this is Gravenberch territory. This could be a hat-trick for Ryan Gravenberch. Let's have a little look. Is he going to stick it into the top corner? Well, it's the bottom corner. But either way, he's got his hat-trick. He's got his 10th goal of the season. And my word, where would we be without that man? Paris Saint-Germain have tried to sign him so many times in the last 2 years, but he's 27 years old now. He's just hitting his stride as a real top draw player in his prime. He's going to be the man who leads us to the promised land. Vermonti, having a look up. A goal for Vance now would be the perfect end of the episode. Jair, do some Jair things. He does. He beats his man. Tucks it back to Vargas. Vargas can't quite find Rott, who was ready to just hammer it from the edge of the area. And West Ham have got a counter-attack on here, and we need to nip this in the bud. We don't want to lose our clean sheet bonus for our goalkeeper, who's not really had to... Well, he's literally had to do nothing. West Ham haven't had a shot, and it's the 91st minute. George, charging down the left-hand side. Vance is in the middle. He finds Vance, and it's just wide from Francis Vance. That was an excellent opportunity for him to grab a goal. Jair now on the right-hand side plays it into Vargas. Vargas has so much space. Cross comes over. George couldn't quite get there, but Philippe has got it and can't get the cross over. I don't want West Ham to have a shot. It would be such a contrast in the 2 matches in this episode. We looked awful, and then all of a sudden don't let our opponents even have a shot while we score 4 goals. We're such an inconsistent team. It's fun. It's definitely fun. Gravenberch with the corner. Can't quite find a Tottenham shot, but it's back with Gravenberch again, who, I mean, he'll be ready for a 4th goal. I'm sure he'll take the opportunity if it presents itself. If West Ham have a shot here, I'll be gutted. Vargas makes the interception, and there's Vermonti as well. Nobody wants West Ham having a shot. It should be double clean sheet bonuses if the opponent don't even get a shot. Jair now, and there we have it. I don't know that I've ever done that before in all my years playing Football Manager. They actually beat us for possession, but didn't have a single shot while we had 42 shots and beat them 4-0. That was not a very nice day if you're a West Ham fan. But for us, it was lovely, lovely stuff. Right, we are now turning our focus to Paris Saint-Germain. I'm going to do the first leg offline just so we don't drag out the brutality for too long. And we'll be back tomorrow with the home leg and either Everton or Southampton. Probably Everton, because I think Everton are a team who are vaguely in the mix. Or they would be if they didn't keep selling all their best players, because they just sold a player to Chelsea in that transfer, £116 million worth of striker, I think he is. 22-year-old Paraguayan striker. Everton would be a fun team to manage as long as I kept their scouting network intact, because they are forever selling players for huge amounts of money. But I'm not going to Everton. Thank you. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.